We're back in Causeway Bay. What are we doing here, Des?
Did you know that there was a time when Cantonese opera was the most popular entertainment in town? Times have changed and we have a lot more options these days when it comes to our entertainment. It might come as a surprise to some of you that there are places and people who are trying to keep this art form alive. Today, Dolce Vita is here to celebrate Cantonese opera, which holds a special place in so many Hong Kong people's hearts. Mark, it's really good to see you. Tell us about Cantonese opera and how it came to Hong Kong.
Well, Cantonese opera has always been a kind of street art form. So you're talking about people putting up like a scaffolding stage in the new territories, or possibly, in some smaller theaters within Hong Kong, the urban areas itself.
Kind of like a pop-up.
Yeah, very much so. It's I don't know if it's the right word, but it was never really considered high art per se.
Okay.
Back in the 1920s, Mr. Lee Hyson decided that he would build a proper theater because his family members apparently were very much into Cantonese opera.
Okay.
So he built this theater. And you're talking about a theater which had a 360-degree rotating stage, 2,000 seats. It was apparently designed by a French architect based on some Italian opera house's blueprint. So it really was something else. It completely stood out.
Okay.
It was better than absolutely any of Hong Kong's venues. And they were saying that it probably was one of the best in Asia.
So it also gave the opera kind of a permanent home, because before you said it was scaffolding, maybe temporary, but now it's an established art form kind of.
Absolutely. It just elevated Cantonese opera into something that probably rivaled a normal Western opera, because it was literally done in a proper opera house.
Tell us about the acts that came through.
Basically, all the top Cantonese opera performances throughout the years were here. The famous Yam Pak Tong, Yam Kim Fai, Pak Shit Sin. But of course, it eventually turned into something even quite different.
Right.
It was the performance venue for all the international acts that came to Hong Kong. I was told Paul Anka was here, Diana Ross, Cliff Richard. So this theatre really was the top performing venue in Asia.
It started off as something for Cantonese opera, but expanded into something bigger.
Absolutely. Cantonese opera, you can say, was the bread and butter for this theatre. As said, it completely elevated the art form. The art form, in turn, gave this place its name.
It's fascinating to know the roots of this iconic performing art. Can't wait to learn more.
Joe, tell us about how you're involved with this project.
Well, I'm the project's production controller, because me and also the director, Mr. Rex Ng, is the die-hard friends for the Yam Bak Tong, the Madam Pak Shit Sin, Madam Yam Kim Fai, and also the screenplayer, Mr. Tom Dick Sung. And this year is the 65 years anniversary, and we want to tribute and celebrate this event. Yeah.
Tell us about the current state of Cantonese opera.
When I tried this, very simple. There's only one TV station and only one radio station. They always broadcast the Cantonese opera. When we heard that, we sing the lyrics, and then the meaning is very interesting and very beautiful. But nowadays, we do have a lot of entertainment.
Yeah.
Most of the youth, they are not really interesting or really knowing what exactly about the Cantonese opera in Hong Kong.
Right.
That's why we really want to expand their interest, and also really want they like it, because Cantonese opera full of the manhok history, and also very interesting story, the value of how to be a good human being. And then I think this is very important to educate.
You talked about how it's important for some of these values to be passed on to the younger generation. What about the performance itself? Do you want to see young people actually performing?
Of course I want, because actually nowadays the very professional performance of the performers is already a bit aging. Let them know the beauty and the value of the Cantonese opera, and they create their interest then they can really involve themselves to learn or to exercise their mindset and see if they have the potential.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's to inspire them as
Yeah,
well.
inspire them, exactly.
Now, what about this exhibition? What do you hope visitors to this exhibition will get out of it?
Well, I really want them to knowing that the Cantonese opera is not only for our grandma, grandpa, my mom.
But it's true, right?
Exactly.
That's what people think. You're in a taxi, you hear it.
Exactly, that's why. I really want them to know that the Cantonese opera nowadays can cross over with the contemporary art, like photographer, like drawing, painting, inspire or enhance them to create, and knowing that we can cross over with the modern art.
Michelle, will you mind sharing with us how you took such an iconic character from Cantonese opera and put it into a martial arts TV show, and how do you interpret that character?
喺好多年前我拍帝女花啦，係個名咧叫武俠帝女花。咁啊，今次咧因為帝女花嘅長平公主65週年啦，咁所以佢就emphasize 咗嗰個長平公主出嚟，就冇咗個駙馬。
So apparently, the story of the Floral Princess was very popular at the time, and so Michelle had a chance to bring this onto the TV screen, but in a martial arts form, because they liked at that time to kind of take popular stories, add some martial arts elements to it. So that's how it came about. And this time for the exhibition, the concentration is on the female lead character, who is Princess Changping. And so there's no mention in this exhibition of the husband. Tell us about your initial impression when you first got that script and looked at it.
咁我當然就係依照之前阿仙姐同阿飲姐做嗰個，我哋由細到大呢個係一個好傳統 traditional 嘅一個古仔。咁佢只係加咗一啲趣味性，又或者吸引觀眾嘅武打落去。
Michelle tells me that the screenwriters and the producers, they kept the base story the same. The storyline is the same. Where they added, interesting elements was a little bit of humor and also, of course, that martial arts to entertain the audience. You look at the photos, it combines the contemporary with tradition, and the day that she showed up on set, she said everything was on the table and there were elements from the past, from Canto Opera, there were things from the TV show, and of course you look at her outfit and the thing she's wearing, it's totally modern. She's very excited about it. Stanley, tell me, how have you come in contact with Cantonese Opera? Are you a fan of the art form?
Yes, people see me as I'm contemporary visual person, but I'm very traditional in a way. When I become a designer, so I want to learn contemporary modern thing and yet see the Chinese culture, history. So Chinese opera, definitely one area that I enjoy to go there to see the performance and yet learn more about what's going on and what the performance is about.
Now I want to get back to this exhibition this time and this piece
Right.
behind us. What was your inspiration? Tell us about that.
When I was invited from Joe, and then definitely I got to have who performing the princess. Immediately come to my very good friend, working, cooperate with me for many times, Richard Yin. She's a very influential, very experienced choreographer and yet dancer. She's also very into Chinese culture in a way. So I think she's perfectly acting the princess in front of my camera.
What is it that you hope the audience will get out of this piece? Is it the movement? Is it the colors? What is it?
Oh, definitely the symbolic, this red ribbon or red clothes is reference from the movie. Okay, I mean, when they get married, the red ribbon is supposed to tie the husband and wife together.
Yes.
So we really want to capture that to perform as an object around her body, around her. So the gesture that we like to present is the strong personality of the princess.
I learned so much today, and from the conversations with my guests, I realized it's not easy to keep an art form like Cantonese opera alive in today's modern world. It takes time, effort, and most of all, art. I was certainly inspired, and I hope you are too. So next time you're looking for something to do or to catch a show, why not make it Cantonese opera?